All right, so our first speaker this morning is an amazing chiropractor. Some of you know him. He has been serving Canton since 2004. He's my personal chiropractor. He really takes pride and passion in what we do, so let's go ahead and welcome him to the stage. Give it up for Dr. Moss. Ooh, sorry, I ran out of breath there.
So I want to start off today and tell you a story about a baby named Adeline. So her grandmother is Lisa, who's here today. Where's Lisa? Right here. Okay. So Lisa was actually our opening testimonial last year because she came to our office. Her life was completely changed. Lost weight, off medication, understand that the power inside of you is what heals you, changed her life, and has never been healthier. Am I right, Lisa? Yes. So her granddaughter, Charlotte, started having ear infections. So bad that they said, we need to put tubes in the ears. And Lisa said, that doesn't sound right to me. That isn't, from what you've taught me, this doesn't feel right. Is there something that you can do? I said, if we take pressure off of the nerves in Charlotte, her body will always function better. So what do? We started to adjust her spine, especially at the very top of the neck, because that controls the mucous membranes in the ears. And when we adjusted her, things started to change. Has she had an ear infection since starting care? No ear infections since. So she comes once a week. Why? Because we want to keep her power on, keep her healthy. Well, Lisa's daughter had another baby, Adeline. And we were all excited for the baby. And then I realized time had gone by and I hadn't seen the baby. I hadn't heard about the baby. I haven't met the baby. And I'll never forget, I was adjusting, I finished adjusting a patient. I walked out. I happened to see Lisa warming up. And I could see something was wrong because Lisa is always bright and cheery. And that day she was not. So I sat down next to her and I said, Lisa, what's going on? I'm just really worried about Adeline. I said, that's your new granddaughter, right? I haven't met her. Why haven't I met her yet? Well, she's in ICU. She was born with a heart defect. And with this heart defect, she needed to have a life-saving surgery. The problem was she wasn't able to breathe on her own. I said, well, what have they done for her? Well, they actually had to give this baby fentanyl to put her out so that they could intubate her, to put her on a respirator to keep her breathing. She was not breathing on her own. And this was what really bothered me. This 3-week-old baby was having withdrawals from fentanyl. Does anybody else feel nauseous? That's what I felt. And I said, Lisa, where is she? Well, what do you mean, where is she? She's at Scottish Rite. And I said, give me your daughter's number. I'm going to text her if that's okay with you. And I need to get my hands on this baby's spine. Well, what can you do? I said, well, what are they doing? Well, they're giving her medication. They're keeping her alive. Awesome. But what else are they doing? We're just waiting at this point for her to start breathing on her own. They had no more options. They were just hoping that something was going to change. And I said, listen, Lisa, I've seen this before. Being born is the most traumatic thing you will ever live through. A lot of times they turn that baby's neck so far that they might misalign the top bone in that neck. And when that bone misaligns, it puts pressure on your brainstem. Your brainstem is what controls all the things that keep you alive, like your breathing rate, your heart rate, your blood pressure, your digestion. And I said, if there's pressure on that brainstem of hers, that's why she's not breathing. And I said, is it going to hurt to try? Heck no. So I text Bella, who's her daughter, and Bella's like, oh my God, you would do that? I'm like, 100%, this is what I live for. So I drove down there on a Thursday morning, and I met Bella in the lobby. And you never know what you're going to meet. Is there resistance, right? Yeah. The good news is every single time I've gone to the hospital to adjust a baby, it's always an awesome nurse who's like, who are you? I'm their chiropractor. I love my chiropractor. Oh my gosh. Can I watch? What do you need help with? So that's exactly what I ran into. This very sweet nurse. Who are you? I'm their chiropractor. Oh my God, I love my chiropractor. What can I do to help you? And I said, well, she is hooked up to a bunch of tubes, all this oxygen, all these monitors, all these wires. And I said, I need her turned around. Can you help me with that? So she turned the baby. I'm moving wires. And I put my hands on her neck. And she is subluxated. For those of you that don't know what that means it's a misalignment in the spine, putting pressure on that baby's brainstem. Now, if you've never seen a baby get adjusted, it looks nothing like your adjustment, okay? It's not popping and cracking. It's a little bit of pressure. I put a little bit of pressure on her atlas, and I felt it slide. It's not a pop. It's a nice little slide. I said, that was good. That is what she needed. And I left. I went back out to my car, and I told my wife, I just turned that baby's power on. And she said, did you go and adjust every other baby in that hospital? I said, gosh darn, I wish I could. I didn't know how she was going to respond because I never know how anybody will respond to chiropractic and taking pressure off the nerves, but know this, pressure off the nerve is always better than pressure on the nerve. Well, that was Thursday morning. Friday morning is Lisa's normal appointment time. She comes in and goes, she's breathing better. Things are changing. She looks different. People are noticing. I said, really? Now, am I surprised? Yes and no. I always expect that. But I always hope it, but I never expect it. Let's put it that way. And I said, well, just keep me in the loop. Well, the next morning I got an email from Lisa that says, hey, Dr. Moss, had to share. The doctor lowered Adeline's oxygen again this morning. It's on the lowest setting. If she does well, which she is, they will put her on a different type of oxygen, which is another step forward. Adeline's power is on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The next morning, I got another email. Big day. We were told yesterday we would not be adjusting Adeline's oxygen settings, but they lowered the settings through the night. We saw a new doctor today that said Adeline is doing amazing on the lower oxygen settings, so they just switched her to high flow oxygen, which is amazing. She is 100% off the vent. One step closer to her breathing on her own. They also went from morphine every 6 to 8 hours. Every nurse that comes in says she looks amazing. We are so thankful for her and thankful for this. We want her to be as healthy as possible for her procedure. It wasn't a week later that she was breathing on her own, was able to have her heart surgery, save her life, and now I get to adjust this baby in my office. That is the power that is already inside of you. God put a power that created you, it heals you, it runs you, and you guys need to understand this. You are supposed to be healthy. Everybody, say this. I am supposed to be healthy. You need to believe that, because if you are not healthy, there's something interfering with the innate intelligence inside of you that's trying to heal you. Today is all about how do we remove the interference? Because too many of us are taking medications thinking that that's how we're going to get healthy. This upsets me. This should upset you. Only 1 in 1,000 Americans make it to age 60 and not be on a medication. When did that happen? I have patients that will go to their doctor, they're in their 70s, and they're not on medication because they're in my practice, and their doctors are like, I've never seen this before. When did that become the norm? When did being medicated become the norm and not being medicated be abnormal? We've got it backwards. We need to make this change. What else have we become normal with and okay with is being overweight. I'm going to tell you right now, we are getting bigger and bigger as a country because of how we eat, the stress levels we endure, the lack of exercise. The average dress size in the 1960s was a size 8. Now it's a size 16. Have you guys ever heard of the book, How to Boil a Frog? Some of you, yes. Some of you are like, why would you say that? Well, I'm going to tell you the whole book in a couple sentences because it's very important to understand. If you were to try to boil a frog, and you have a frog, which I would never do, but you have boiling water and you throw the frog in, what's he going to do? He's going to jump out because he's like, That's too big of a contrast. That's too much, too soon. I don't want it. That's dangerous. And he said, jump away from danger. So how do you boil a frog? Slowly with cool water. Keep him slowly comfortable until it's too late. That's what's happening to us. We are slowly getting bigger. We're slowly getting sicker. We're slowly all becoming medicated and vaccinated and thinking that, well, this is just how it is now. When where are we going with this? Are we losing our health? Is that a good thing? No. Is it keeping us from doing the things we want to do? Yeah. I can't tell you how many people retire and then go on, the tour of doctors. Instead of touring the world, they just go to their doctors and doctor visit. Like, that sounds like a miserable retirement. That is not what I want to do. I'm sure that's not what anybody wants to do. And when you are gaining this weight, you are overweight, there is an effect to every cause. If you gain 15 pounds, you've just doubled your risk of type 2 diabetes. 22 pounds of weight gain increases heart attack risk by 75%. And if you are obese, meaning that your body fat, if you are a woman, it's over 30%. If you're a man, it's over 25%. You've just doubled your risk of heart failure. And in women, you've tripled your risk of breast cancer. And what's the cost of that? Besides losing your health, you're going to lose everything you've ever saved. If you think about it, the American dream seems to be work hard, save money, travel, and do what you want when you're older. Now it's work hard, save money, stay medicated, give all the money to your doctor. That's not what I want. If you're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at age 35, you've just lost $250,000. If you survive your first heart attack, $500,000. If you're diagnosed with cancer, the average bill for the first 3 months of treatment is $250,000. You guys have that money laying around? No. I can tell you right now, it's a lot easier to keep your health than to try to get your health back. And the way I see it, we're using the wrong model of health. There's two models of health. There's one that's reactive healthcare model, and then there's a proactive preventative healthcare model. And the reactive is, it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? It's wait till you break down, then let's see what the problem is and change the oil. Now, would we ever do that to our car? Ricky, would you ever do that to your car? No. We know better. We know that we change our oil so that we don't break down. That's called preventative maintenance. Everybody knows to do that, right? Right? Okay. Every once in a while, I see the one person's like, oh, I did that once. Why do we take better care of our cars than we do our bodies? We only get one body. You can buy a new car, right? So when you go to the reactive model of health, typically that doctor is going to give you medication because that's what they're trained to do. Medicate you. Put a chemical into your body to manipulate your body's chemistry so that you might feel better, your labs look different and better and improved. But does it ever address the cause of your problem? Not really. They're really looking for symptom relief, disease management. Has your doctor ever told you you can heal from this? Maybe if you broke your arm, right? Did they ever look to the cause? Do they understand that your lifestyle is what's creating you to either gain health or lose health? When's the last time your doctor taught you how to eat better, how to exercise better, how to change your lifestyle so you don't actually need them? Well, that's not a very good model of health, is it? Not a very good business model, at least. All right, let me teach you how to not need me. All right. Or you can look at a proactive health care. That means I understand that my body has an innate wisdom inside of it that it runs and controls everything. We can heal ourselves of everything and anything as long as there's no interference. But we have to understand that we can't live an unhealthy lifestyle and create health. All right? The decisions you make every day create your lifestyle. And you can't drug your way out of something you've lifestyled your way into. The good news is, if you've lifestyled your way into a problem that you might be experiencing right now, guess what you can do? You can lifestyle your way right back out of it. That's what today is about. Because as a max living doctor, We are on a mission. We are part of a group of doctors that are tired of our healthcare system saying that we are the way and we are the only way, and if we can't help you, there's nobody else can. We want to empower you to make better choices, think differently, honor the wisdom inside of you, and live a life free of interference. And we do that through what are called the 5 essentials of the max living lifestyle. Now, lots of you here are patients today. I see you guys. I recognize most of you. Some of you I don't recognize. Welcome. Thank you guys for coming. But today we're going to talk about chiropractic and the nervous system and how that relates to proper function. We're going to talk about having a healthy mindset. What kind of things can you eat that will help create more health in your body? We're talking about the whole theme today is vitality, right? We're going to talk about what are things that make us heal more. So what are vitality healers? Which things are vitality stealers? What things are taking our life from us? Now, we're going to go through a bunch of different things here today. Today's not necessarily about weight loss. I know some people are here because they want to learn how to lose weight in a healthy manner. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you live this lifestyle, if you have weight to lose, it's going to start coming off. But if you have weight to gain, it's going to start to go on, because this is not about weight loss. This is about health restoration, creating balance. Now, you guys have gotten a packet here today. Have you guys gone through your packet yet? Lots of information in there, right? So a couple things I want to point out. One is, if you're a guest, this sheet right here, hopefully you were instructed to fill that out. This is called a stress survey. Only guests would have had that. So as you are here and listening, go ahead and fill that out. We're going to address this a little bit later. We put together a book. I say we, I mean Whitney. Whitney and Dr. Sydney, she definitely helped a lot with that. She's like, yeah, what about me? No, they worked very hard to put that book together, and there is a ton of information. I was talking to Cecilia earlier saying how I could spend hours, I'm talking like 6 hours of information here today, and you would still learn more stuff, but we only have 2.5, okay? So I had to take some of my slides out. I put them in there because I still think it's very important information. But as we go through this here today, I might say something that is going to make you think of somebody. And when you think of somebody, this is the sheet I want you to, this little sheet here, go ahead and grab that out. I want you to keep that next to you. We're going to talk about the sign me up card later, but where it says help my friends and family. If I say something and you're like, oh my gosh, that person just popped in my head, I want you to write them down. Because we're going to talk about this later, but we're doing a community outreach dinner in April. And it's all about how can we help more people get this information. It's all about leading people to the water. Sometimes you want to make them drink. Just shove their head under the water until they do drink, because you know it's good for them. Yeah, we can't do that, but we can at least buy them a dinner, talk about what we do here, and help more people. So keep that out and keep that in mind. For those of you that are guests, we're going to give you an opportunity to become part of our practice. We're going to talk about a 30-day challenge here today. So in there, in your sheets, in your folder, you'll have the 30-day challenge. We're going to go over that. We're going to talk about that and how to do it. I'm going to be talking about supplements. There's some supplements that I'm going to recommend to give you the basically best bang for the buck, meaning I want you to get these supplements so that your efforts are not wasted. And some of you are like, I've done this before. Some of you, this is not your first makeover. Some of you have been to many, many makeovers. Some of you, this is your first one. I want you to understand, I'm going to give you a lot of stuff to think about. I'm going to give you a lot of stuff to do. But if that first step looks overwhelming, you might not even take that first step. And I don't want that for anybody. Because do you think we all need to move in a better direction? Yes? Yeah. Take a little step. If you're feeling overwhelmed, pick one thing. Because sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. If we maybe are going down the wrong road, let's just change direction. Now, we all want to be healthy, yes or yes? Yes. Now the question is, why do we want to be healthy? So I have a video I want to show you guys to kind of give you some insight to that.
It's called How Do I Know? And a lot of times when people hear the phrase, how do I know, the next thing they say is what? How do I know what? But the key really isn't to know what. The key is to know why. Because when you know your why, you have options on what your what can be. For instance, my why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. My what is stand-up comedy. My what is writing books. My what can be going out with some friends to eat. In fact, another what that has moved me towards my why is a web series that we have out now called Break Time. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you should subscribe to the channel. We do a series called Break Time on YouTube. So 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode. One episode in particular, I'm about to show you a clip to. We were in Winston-Salem. So break time, this is how it works. I travel the country, I do stand-up comedy, probably an hour, hour and a half at an event. And in the middle of my show, I'll just sit down and start talking to the audience. And funny just happens. Or I'll meet somebody who's really interesting. So I met this one guy, and he said that he teaches music at a school. I was like, all right, you teach music, can you sing? And then I'm just gonna show you the clip. Check it. So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I see.
So here's the thing. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time I asked him to sing, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what has more impact because you're walking in or towards your purpose.
That's good stuff, isn't it? What is your purpose? Why are you here? Do you guys know? Do you have a big why? Do you guys have your note sheet out? No? Let's get your note sheet out because I want to do this with you guys. I want you to think about goals in your life. What do you want to achieve? It could be 5 years from now. It could be 1 year from now. It could be 30 years from now. But I want you to write down just one thing that you would like to achieve in the future. Take a second and think about it because this is going to be very important. Because like he said, if your why is big enough, the how becomes easy. Your why is why you're going to start getting healthier. Your why is going to be the reason you keep going. When you feel like things are getting hard, you feel like quitting, you remember why you started and you get back on track. And if you're thinking, I want to lose some weight so I look good in a bathing suit, that's not a very good why. It needs to be bigger. It needs to be like, I want to be able to play golf with my grandkids. Or walk my daughter down the aisle. No time soon, Bryn. Does anybody have theirs? Does anybody want to share with the group? You don't have to. Sometimes people want to. Monica? Awesome. That's so good. It is broad. It is, but it's actually, it applies to so many aspects of life that when things get hard, boom, you know why you're here. Yeah. You're here for a reason. That's very good. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else have a why that they'd like to share? Becca? I like it. Look at that. And how old are you? You're 12 years old, and she's already thinking, I want kids by my side. It's funny. I was the same way growing up, and my wife can attest to this. I already knew how many kids I was going to have and what order they were going to be in. And when we were dating, we talked about kids. She goes, I want 2. I'm like, we're going to have 3. And she's like, we'll talk about it. I'm like, okay, we can talk about it. But we're going to have 3. And I said, we're going to have 2 boys and a girl. They're going to be about 2 years, 6 months apart. Blonde hair, blue eyes. And what happened? I had 3 kids, blonde hair, blue eyes, 2 boys, and a girl. And then she said, should we have 4? I'm like, no, I said 3. 3 was in my plan, but I put it out there, okay? So I'm going to share with you my why. Some of you have heard this before, but I think it's good just to understand that when things get hard, you remember what you want in life. Because if you want to achieve your purpose, if you want to achieve that goal that you wrote down, it means that you have to be 2 things. 1, you have to be alive, and you have to be healthy. You're not going to be able to do the things you want to do if your health is always getting in your way. Your health is never supposed to get in your way. It's supposed to be there to help get you through and get you to your purpose. So when I was 12 years old, my mother passed away of lung cancer, never having smoked a day in her life. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. And she passed away on June 21st, 1989, so it was the first day of summer. And it was that November, it was Thanksgiving, and my brother came home and said, I was giving you an assignment, and he was in, I think, 4th grade or something like that, to interview my family at Thanksgiving. I said, okay, well, let's do a video. And for those of you that are younger, the video meant I was the cameraman. It wasn't this. It was, yeah. And then the recorder had to hang down here, so you had to be big and strong, and I was the older brother, so I was going to do that. So I was his cameraman. So we're going through Thanksgiving. We're interviewing our little cousins who are all younger than us. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite superhero? Then we're talking to our uncles and our aunts. And then we get to Grandma. And I'll never forget seeing, we're at the dinner table. It's a long dinner table. Grandma and Grandpa right there in the middle. They're there with their 3 kids. They had 2 boys and a girl, so my dad, his brother, and his sister, all 7 of the grandkids all hanging out. And my brother said, Grandma, what's your greatest achievement? She goes, I'm responsible for everybody here. And I'll never forget that because that became my why. The reason why I live my life the way I do is because I want that for me. One day, I'm going to sit at my table with my 3 kids, all my grandkids, and their spouses, and I'm going to say, I created this. But in order for that to happen, we need to be healthy, right? The problem here is that everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody say, I want to be healthy. Of course, we all want to be healthy, right? But most people don't know what healthy actually means. Because most people think that we are healthy when we feel what? We feel good, right? And that is a trap, and we've all fallen for it. Because we've all been taught that you don't need your doctor if you feel good. You only need your doctor if you don't feel good, which means I only need to go when I don't feel good, which means if I feel good, I must be healthy. Did you guys follow all that? Did it make sense? Okay. Everybody wants to be healthy, but healthy has nothing to do with feeling. Everybody, the word is right there. The definition of health is right there. H-E-A-L. health has nothing to do with how you feel. It has everything to do with how your body heals. And that is also called function. Health has to do with 100% function. Because if we understand that God created us to be healthy and be perfect, we need no interference. And when there's no interference, our body is 100% vitality, 100% life, healing itself the way it's supposed to. The problem is that a lot of us live in this false wellness comfort zone. Because we feel good means why change? Why do I need to take a vitamin if I don't feel the difference? Right? I've heard this. Spinach doesn't make me feel any better. Right? I ate really bad food and I felt fine. Guys, I was a very unhealthy child. I ate lots of McDonald's, drank Coke all the time. I mean, I didn't always used to be healthy. I'm not going to go through my story. I'm not going to trouble you showing you the picture of when I was 195 pounds. Some of you have seen that enough. I don't need to scare anybody. But we often will live here thinking that we're healthy because we feel good. That is the trap. We need to constantly be working, going that direction. Because every choice you made, everything that you do every single day is either going to make you go that direction or go that direction. Your choice to show up here this morning at 9 a.m. when it's raining out, you could have stayed in bed. Right? All the people that didn't show up. Right? Eating healthy lunch afterwards, going to Chick-fil-A. Oh, I said I was going to ruin you guys' Chick-fil-A today. Sorry, did it anyway. So if our new goal is not necessarily to feel good, it's to, excuse my grammar, heal good, right? We need to work with the one organ that controls and coordinates all health, all healing, and all function, and that is our nervous system. The nervous system controls every single function in our body because God put the power in our brain and our spinal cord. That information comes from the brain down the spinal cord, out along the nerves to every single cell, tissue, and organ in your entire body. So right now, for our heart to beat, our lungs to breathe, to digest food, the information comes from here, goes down here, and goes out. We call that the above-down, inside-out principle. That's where healing comes from. No doctor can give you more of that. No medication can turn that on. You have everything that you need inside of you. We just need no interference. Nature needs no help. It just needs no interference. Have you guys ever noticed that when man gets in the way, we screw it up every single time? Yeah. We make things worse. And we say it got better. Things got easier. No, it didn't. So we need no interference. So the rest of today is focused on what are the causes of interference? What is blocking your body's ability to heal itself right now? Why are you not at 100%? Where are these sources of interference? There's 3 types of interference. Number 1 are called toxins. 2 are traumas. 3 are thoughts. Everybody say toxins, traumas, and thoughts. So toxins are chemicals that we find in our food. We found it in our environment. Traumas are physical issues, whether it's a bad posture, car accident, trip trauma, fall, using the wrong pillow. And thoughts are emotional stresses that cause issues with cortisol levels, cause stress in our body, cause tension in our muscles, and pull things out of alignment. So I have a video we're going to start with toxins.
One of the biggest threats to our health is our own environment. Some toxins are easy to spot. However, most are either invisible or undetectable to the average person.
We have poisoned our water, we have poisoned our air, we are poisoning our foods, and we're doing that to allow industry to advance. But in the process, we're introducing hundreds and hundreds of pollutants into our bodies.
In particular, I worry about pesticides, herbicides on the fruit and vegetables you eat. And on the animal side, very concerned about growth hormone, steroids, antibiotics being injected into the food supply.
Prescription drugs that are now showing up in the water supplies, about arsenic that's showing up in the water supplies, heavy metals.
We have sterilized our topsoil. The pesticides not only kill the living organisms that come to attack the farmer's produce, but it also hits the topsoil and it kills all the living microorganisms and bacteria that convert an inorganic rock mineral into an organic form for it to be absorbed and uptaken by the plant.
For us to assume that just because we have a plethora of food that we're not undernourished is really wrong, because our food, unfortunately, is undernourished.
It can be very overwhelming. Please don't get overwhelmed with it. Just understand there's no way to avoid it, okay? But we can help you minimize your exposure to it by making changes. So environmental and household toxins, this is your chemical interference. So let's talk about toxins in our food. Now, where do we find that? We not only want to know what's in our food, but we also want to know what's on our food, right? What are they putting in our food, though? You guys heard of Frankenfood before? Yeah. Have you guys heard of an Impossible Burger? Yeah, that's a Frankenfood. How do you make a vegetable taste like beef and it be healthy? No. 3,000 different food additives have been approved by the FDA, and the average American consumes 150 pounds of them a year. So here's the thing, and I see this a lot, and this is one of those traps. Well, there's just a little bit in each thing, so it's not that big a deal, right? It's the last ingredient. There's not very much of it in there. Well, you do a little bit, a lot over time, it accumulates, and it becomes a problem. This is the boil the frog scenario. A little bit over time, and you don't even know what's happening to you. Now, when we talk about additives, how about colorings? Have you guys known that food coloring, especially red dye number 5, has been linked to neurological disorders? And there's studies. Food additives, especially colorings, have been linked to all types of neurological and behavioral disorders, as well as many others. Journal of Pediatrics and Child Health. This is not new information. I can't tell you how many times, though, I see children in my office that they have neurological issues. They can't sit still. They don't behave well. And then I see them snacking on Skittles. Okay? Red dye. All these dyes. Now, if you want to give your kids a treat, give them something that's not going to take their health from them, not something that's going to make things worse. So I'm going to show you something here. This is a Frankenfood. And I want you to tell me if this is something that you should give your kids. All right? So we're going to read these ingredients together. Well, first of all, are there too many ingredients to read? Yeah. Would you buy it? No. Okay, but we're going to pretend like we are. So the ingredients: roast white turkey. It's cured, and there's smoke flavor added. I'm already out. Okay? Cured is typically not a good thing. White turkey, water, potassium lactate, modified food starch. We're just going to keep going down. Carrageenan, which is linked to cancer. Sodium phosphate, potassium chloride, sodium diacetate, good old just flavor. I love that one. Sodium nitrite. Sodium nitrite has been linked to pancreatic cancer. And then they have natural and artificial flavor. They need to make that turkey taste good with artificial flavoring. But then there's pasteurized, prepared cheddar cheese product. Do you know what that means? It's not cheese. Okay, that is not cheese. Made from milk and water and milk protein concentrate, milk fat, whey protein. I could just keep on going. And then we get down to the crackers, enriched wheat flour, this is vegetable shortening. You guys know what shortening does? Shortens your life. Okay, it's an easy way of knowing. If it says shortening, just understand it's taking life away from you. Soybean oil, partially hydrogenated cottonseed oil. Anytime you see partially hydrogenated, that is a trans fat. So should we feed this to our children? No. So I'm going to tell you, the people I'm talking to today are not the kids. Kids don't have their own money. They don't have their cars. They're not going to the store and buying this stuff. I'm talking to the parents. I'm talking to the grandparents. Because unfortunately, this is the #1 lunch packed for children. This is Lunchables. I can't tell you how many times I've been to the elementary school to have lunch with my kids, and I look around and every other kid has a Lunchable. And then you wonder why they can't concentrate. You wonder why they have skin issues, digestive issues. Have you guys ever heard of glyphosate before? Everybody say glyphosate. I hope you never have to say it again, okay? Because it's weed killer. You guys have heard of Roundup? This is Roundup. And there is, so I'm trying to figure if I want to tell you first. Yeah. Okay. So would you drink weed killer? No, because it's going to kill you, right? Yeah. Have you guys ever heard of GMOs before? Genetically modified organisms. So GMO is when they genetically change. Typically, it's corn, it's wheat, and it's soy. And they create different hybrids through genetic modifications so that it becomes Roundup ready. Have you guys heard of Roundup ready crops? So imagine you have thousands of acres of corn and you have a lot of weeds. Wouldn't it be just so easy to spray the whole thing with Roundup and the only thing that dies are the weeds? That's what Roundup ready crops do. They are resistant to glyphosate. They are resistant to Roundup. So they can be sprayed and not die. Is that glyphosate still getting into the food? 100%. Are you eating it? 100%. Is it safe for you to eat? No. Well, the guy from Monsanto who created glyphosate, he says it's fine.
I do not believe that glyphosate in Argentina is causing increases in cancer. You can drink a whole quart of it and it won't hurt you.
You want to drink some? We have some here.
I'd be happy to, actually, but not really, but
not really?
I know it wouldn't hurt me.
If you say so, I have some glyphosate.
No, I'm not stupid.
Ah, okay, so you
No, but I know
so it's dangerous, right?
No, people try to commit suicide with it and fail fairly regularly.
Tell the truth.
It's not dangerous to humans. No, it's not.
So you're ready to drink one glass of glyphosate?
No, I'm not an idiot. Interview me about golden rice. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, then it's finished. Then the interview is finished.
That's a good way to solve things.
Yeah. You're a complete jerk.
But it's safe. It doesn't hurt. It's safe for humans. I call BS. It is not safe for humans, and it's everywhere. What about pesticides? Thousands and thousands of pounds, tons, are used every single year. They're getting on your food, they're getting in your food so that you have food to eat, but are you washing it? Are you ingesting it? If you're not eating organic foods, you are. Now, have you guys heard of the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen list before? Good. Well, every year they update it. We've printed it out. It's in your book, okay? So the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. The Dirty Dozen are the 12 most pesticide-laden fruits and vegetables. So if you are going to buy a fruit and vegetable and it's on the Dirty Dozen list, you definitely want to buy that organic because organic does not use these types of pesticides. Now, the Clean 15 are the ones that are not very pesticide-laden, or the skin is so thick, like an avocado, that it doesn't actually penetrate. So the Clean 15, if it's on the Clean 15 list, you don't have to buy it organic. I just saved you guys a lot of money. Because everybody thinks I have to buy everything organic. The answer is not really. Some things are always, some things are sometimes, and sometimes you don't need to. So that is in there. Now, it's not, unfortunately, just on your food because it's in your wheat and barley and oats. And what do you make with wheat, barley, oats, water, yeast, and hops? Well, I said hops and it went from bread to beer. Yeah, very similar. It's unfortunately in your beer. Not all beer. There's an organic one down here where no glyphosate was tested at all or detected. But Miller Lite, Coors Light, Budweiser, Stella Artois, it's in there. Unfortunate. It's also in your cereal. We've had a display of all the things you shouldn't be eating in my office for the past couple weeks, and I keep having people say, well, why should I eat that? Or can I buy the Fruit Loops from you? We did have a patient try to buy the Fruit Loops. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I wouldn't do that to you. You're actually, because it's made with typically oats, corn, wheat, barley, if it's not organic, it's GMO, and it's going to be highly sprayed, and you're going to find glyphosate in there. Look it up. There's tons. Cheerios is number one. Great. Talking about cereal. Cereal in the United States, if you've ever gone down the aisle, the cereal aisle, it looks like a cartoon nightmare, right? I saw a comedy bit about a guy talking about it, and tricks are for kids, and it's funny. But it's all junk food. You go to Europe, none of that exists. Man, it makes me want to, every time I do this, I want to just move to Europe. Their food is so much better and healthier for us. But it's ultra-processed junk. That's what we get here. Now, a lot of people are like, I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to do a diet. I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to change the way I eat. But 95% of fad diets fail within the first month. Because do diets work? No, they are short-term goals. We need to make sure we're changing the way we eat. In fact, the diet that most people eat is called the standard American diet. SAD, the SAD diet, which tells you need lots and lots of grains and very, very little fat. Well, that's the complete opposite of what I'm going to teach you here today because it's wrong. We actually need more fat. The number one missing ingredient in the standard American diet is healthy, good fats. But we've all been lied to. We've all been taught that if we eat fat, we're going to get right. Wrong. Wrong. It's if you eat damaged fats. Damaged fats are what lead to obesity, inflammation, cancer, heart disease. Healthy fats protect you from those things. So what are damaged fats? What do they look like? We talked about this a little bit ago. Partially hydrogenated oils. I don't care what the next word is. Partially hydrogenated or hydrogenated oils are trans fats. They're awful for you. Trans fats like margarine, country crock. I can't believe you would ever eat this. Right? I can't believe it's not butter. Parquet. All the fun commercials when we were kids. All trans fats. But here's the thing. If you buy something that says trans fat free, do not believe the front of the box. That is designed to make you buy it. It's called marketing. You turn that around and it says trans fat free, and then you see partially hydrogenated vegetable oil. You're like, you liars. Not good. So anything that is a corn oil, canola, sunflower, safflower, these oils are very stable at room temperature, which is why they are used. And if they're stable at room temperature, that extends the shelf life of the food. Anything that extends the shelf life of the food shortens your shelf life. Remember that. All right, let's read another label here. Would you give this to your children? Well, it's made with smiles, so that's good. All right? And enriched wheat flour. So before I go any further, if it's wheat flour, is it going to be sprayed? Yes. If it's organic wheat flour, is it sprayed? No. So anything, if you're going to continue to eat wheat or grains, please at least make sure they're organic wheat or grains so that we're not getting the glyphosate. Let's continue on. Cheddar cheese, vegetable oils, canola, sunflower, and or soybean oil, spices, yeast. Okay, so good stuff? No. There's one here I really want you to pay attention to. Autolyzed yeast extract. Have you guys heard of MSG before? Yeah, is MSG good for you? No, it is very bad for you because it's got high levels of glutamic acid. Autolyzed yeast extract. So you might want to write this one down. Anything that says autolyzed or hydrolyzed. I don't care if the next word is vegetable protein. It is high in glutamic acid and has the same effect on your brain and your body as MSG does. How would you have known that? Right? Autolyzed yeast extract. Anything that's flavored will have that little zing to it. So if you were to eat a potato chip, it's just salt, no zing. You get one that's like jalapeno, zing on your mouth, zing on your tongue, that's MSG. torula yeast, autolyzed yeast extract. Anything that says that, I just put it back. I don't want that in my body. Now, this was interesting. So I took this picture at Costco the other day, and I was reading it. I'm like, okay, this is going to be good for this seminar. But if you look at the bottom, I don't know if you guys can read that. It says right there, contains bioengineered food ingredients. The ingredients from soy, sugar, and canola in this product comes from genetically modified crops. One, thank you for telling me. And two, heck no. No thank you. I want to put that back. Unfortunately, this is the number one snack given at daycare. All right, what about this? Rice powder, cheese powder, coconut powder, and vinegar, and annatto. Gosh darn, that sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Would you give that to your kid? Maybe. Hopefully your kid is a dog. How about that? Dog treats are healthier than goldfish. Fantastic. So I learned something new this week. And Cecilia, I know I was talking to you and Lisa out there saying I was going to do this for you. Just when you think you know a lot, there's always more to know, right? That's why a lot of you keep coming, because I keep learning, I'm going to keep teaching. First of all, Pop-Tarts, don't ever buy them, okay? But this is what I learned. I always tell people the front of the box is marketing. Don't believe a word of it. The truth is in the ingredients. Okay, I'm going to read these ingredients to you. Enriched flour, B vitamins, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, soybean and palm oil, corn syrup, molasses. And then there's a whole bunch of other things. Okay, here's what I learned. First of all, how many different sources of sugar did you hear me say? At least 4. So we had sugar, high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, corn syrup, molasses. So it's 5. Why don't they just use 1? Well, you think one's not good enough. Oh, it must be a flavor profile that they're really working on for Pop-Tarts, right? Yeah. No, here's what it is. If they used all one ingredient, like high fructose corn syrup, all that sugar would put it at the top of the list. And some people would go, oh, the first ingredient is sugar. Maybe I shouldn't buy it. How about that? Sneaky. So they're even sneaky when it comes to the truth and labeling back here. Just like this, the oils in that product was soybean and or canola and or cottonseed. Because if they said it was all one, it would probably be at the top of the list again. And as you know, the higher amount of the ingredient, the higher it is on the list. Interesting? Yeah. Anybody know that before I just told you that? Because I didn't. No. All right. So we need to rethink more fat in our diet. But we don't want bad fats. We want good fats. So what do we want to do? Raw and sprouted seeds and nuts. Olive oil. Olive oil is a great fat. Unless you heat it up over medium heat, then it will start to oxidize and actually cause issues. So for olive oil, medium, low, or no heat. I typically use that for my dressings. I typically put that on my vegetables after I cooked it and drown them because I want good fats in my body. Coconut milk and coconut oil. Coconut oil is typically what I use for cooking, like if we were going to do like a fried rice dish, an Asian dish, because it does add that little bit of an Asian flavor to it, especially like Thai food. We also use it for baking because it does add a little bit of sweetness to it. Avocados and avocado oil. Avocado oil is my go-to when I'm using medium or high heat. If I'm ever cooking in a wok, I'm definitely using my avocado oil. Where else can we get good fats? Wild-caught fish, full of good omega-3 fatty acids. Good. Organic grass-fed dairy, grass-fed cheese, grass-fed beef, grass-fed butter. Did you notice a trend there? Why? What does your cow need to eat? It needs to eat grass, which means that not just the beef should be grass-fed, but anything you get from that cow should be from a healthy grass-fed cow. Otherwise, it's very high in omega-6s. So we talked about omega-3s with the wild-caught fish. We don't want too many omega-6s from the conventionally raised beef. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. They reduce inflammation in our body. Omega-6s typically will raise inflammation. The standard American diet. So the ratio we're looking for is a 1-to-1 ratio of omega-3s and omega-6s, all the way up to a 4-to-1. So 4 6s for every 1, 3. Okay? The unfortunate thing is the standard American diet is 20-to-1. pro-inflammatory, causing inflammation. No wonder we're so sick. So what we need to do is reduce the amount of sixes by changing our bad fats, changing our beef, and getting more omega-3s from different fats and oils. One of those sources of essential fatty acids, or omega-3, is a supplement, fish oil. Raise your hand if you take a fish oil. Good. Everybody should be taking a fish oil, because I can guarantee you we're not getting enough good omega-3s from fish if we don't eat fish 3 times a week. I only eat fish 3 times a week when I'm at the beach. So this is why I like to supplement, because I make sure I'm getting what I need. Now, this healthy fat, this optimal omega, has omega-3s from ALA, which is called alpha-linoleic acid. Not that you need to remember that, but that's from flaxseed. It's got DHA and EPA from fish. And then we also have one omega-6 in there, which is anti-inflammatory and burns fat. It's called GLA, gamma-linoleic acid. So during this challenge, when we're doing these 30 days of changing the way we're going to eat, adding more fat, we want to make sure that we're reducing inflammation and helping our body burn more fat. This would be something that would be very helpful. All right, so we talked about fats, more good fats, less bad fats. What about sugars and processed foods? How much sugar do you guys think we're supposed to eat every day? It's about 35 grams. It varies on your height, weight, and sex, but typically it's 35 grams a day. If you drink a 12-ounce can of Coke, you just consume 39 grams of sugar. If you drink a 20-ounce Coke, 65 grams of sugar, which means in one drink, you're getting more sugar than you're supposed to eat all day. And I can guarantee you, if you're drinking one, you're probably getting more sugar somewhere else. And if you're eating more sugar than your body is supposed to have, what does your body convert that sugar to? Fat. And you wonder why we're gaining weight, because we're drinking our calories. This wreaks havoc on our pancreas. This is why people have type 2 diabetes, because we are just bombarding our body with sugar. I mean, people don't realize how hidden it is. Sobe green tea. Is green tea good for you? Yeah. Is this green tea good for you? No. 61 grams of sugar. Might as well have 4 pieces of cherry pie. A Rockstar energy drink. 62 grams of sugar. That's eating 6 Krispy Kreme donuts, which I'd probably rather do than drink that drink. But I wouldn't do that either. All right. I already ruined Chick-fil-A for you. How about Starbucks? Yeah, Starbucks peppermint white chocolate mocha with whipped cream, 95 grams of sugar. That's 3 days worth of sugar in one drink. Does that taste good? I'm sure it does, right? I've had something similar to that before, and I felt awful after. I would rather have the 8.5 scoops of ice cream. Maybe mix the two. Don't do anything, none of that stuff. Okay. So this is the obvious sugar in my face. I know I shouldn't do it, right? What about the stuff that converts to sugars? Anything that's a carbohydrate, your body breaks down to smaller and smaller parts until it's just sugar. Anything that's a grain, pastas, crackers, cookies. Fruit is made of fructose. Fruit is sugar. Why did God make it then? Well, when he made it, he packaged it with fiber. If you were to drink 8 ounces of orange juice, how many oranges did it take to make that glass of orange juice? 6? 8? Have you ever sat down and ate 6 oranges? No, because you'd be full because of the amount of fiber. We start to juice things that are super sugary, losing that fiber. Again, diabetes. Now, what about alcohol? Is alcohol good for us? And it's not good for us, but this was very interesting. So a lot of people say, well, if I'm going to cut out alcohol for the next 30 days, I'm going to lose weight, or I know because I'm not drinking the beer, I'm not drinking the calories. Yeah, that's one aspect of it. But did you know that your body's liver actually prioritizes alcohol metabolism over fat metabolism? Which means even one drink, you're no longer able to burn fat because it's going, oh man, I prioritize alcohol to get rid, because it's a toxin. It's trying to detoxify your body, and it's not able to to burn the fat. Not only that, but when you drink, it stimulates appetite, which will lead to overeating, and increases cravings for bad food, salty, crunchy, fried stuff. So during this 30-day challenge, we're going to be alcohol-free. We're going to get rid of the carbohydrates. We're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But now I want to shift over to a video that's going to talk about the importance of healthy protein.
The grasslands of eastern Colorado, where cattle traditionally grazed, have become some of the biggest corn farms in the country. And corn has replaced grass as the principal feed for cattle.
The mass production of corn drives the mass production of animal protein in confined operations. And you got to have cheap feed to do the confinements.
At Sue Jarrett's cow-calf operation, we saw how cattle are raised before they go to the feedlot, eating grass on the open range. When Sue's father ran the ranch, cattle spent almost all their lives eating grass, and it took several years to reach market weight. But in recent years, cattle have begun spending more and more of their lives in feedlots.
They put on weight faster if you don't let them move. So total confinement, less space for movement. They eat continually, and you get them into the market, into the food chain. But cattle were not meant to be on a corn-fed diet for that long. You know, we used to feed them 60, 90 days was one thing. Up to 120, you could make it. You start really pushing cattle on a corn-based diet after that, the ulcers and the stomachs don't take it well, and they start getting sick.
We've gone from really feeding no grain to rations now that contain up to 90% grain. But these animals evolved not in feeding these high starch or things like corn. You feed a lot of corn, more acid's produced, and the animal can get into trouble. Corn in this environment produces these acids, the pH drops, and then they succumb to a condition we call acidosis. And if it's not treated, the animal dies. A lot of people look at these large feedlots now and question whether that's what we should be doing. But the reason that it's done, it's economic. And because of the yields on corn and the amount produced and the efficiency of producing corn, it's lower cost per unit of usable energy to the animal.
If the American people wanted strictly grass-fed beef, we would produce grass-fed beef for them. But it's definitely more expensive. And one of the tenets in America is America wants and demands cheap food.
Cheap food, or do we want healthy food? Healthy food. Healthy food is not always going to be the cheapest, but if you look at it as an investment in your health and your future health, it doesn't matter what it costs. It's a lot harder and a lot more expensive to try to heal yourself from a disease that you caused by eating poorly. So we need to look at the quality of the food and the protein that we're eating. If you're eating an animal product, you really want to know how healthy was that animal before I'm going to eat it. What was its diet like? Because you are eating what they ate. So we talk about perfecting our proteins. If you're going to change one thing, this is it right here. Okay, now changing the oils, that's an easy thing. You can change the oils and have nobody in your house have any idea, but you're all going to be healthier because of it. Cutting out the sugar might be a little bit the tougher part, right? A little bit different. But perfecting your proteins, you're not going to taste the difference. I mean, you might taste a little bit different. If anything, it's going to taste better. But I can tell you, when you start to eat healthier meats, going back and eating the regular conventionally raised, like especially chicken, it doesn't taste the same. I don't think it's as good. So what do we want to do? Grass-fed beef, 100% grass-fed beef. You can get this at Kroger. You can get this at Publix. You can get this at Whole Foods. And he said if we demanded more grass-fed beef, we would get more grass-fed beef. You are voting with your dollars. What are you buying? The more we buy, the more they need to order, the more we're going to get access to it. Your chicken needs to be pasture-raised. Your eggs need to be from free-range chickens. And your fish needs to be wild-caught. Now, we need to avoid pork and shellfish because pork and shellfish they're very dirty. They're not good for you. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm never going to eat pork again or I'm never going to eat shrimp or crabs because I love all those things. But when I understood how bad they really are for you, I started to eat them a lot less. Pork, the other white meat, used to be a once-a-week thing in my house. Now it's maybe 3 or 4 times a year. And I usually save it for ribs because I like to smoke meat. Shellfish, I used to eat shrimp once a week. Now it's maybe 3 or 4 times a year at my house, but when I go to the beach, I'm eating shrimp, okay? So you don't have to be perfect all the time, right? Because perfection is hard to get to. It's never going to happen. Now, talking about salmon, this was very interesting. Salmon, especially farm-raised salmon, researchers show that it contains 5 times more toxins than any other food they tested, making it one of the worst foods you could ever eat. Because when you see farm-raised, where are they farming these? In the Atlantic in bins. What are they feeding these fish? Corn. They're feeding them corn and they're feeding them grains. So when we're talking about salmon, we want the omega-3 and anti-inflammatory properties, all those good fats. Well, when you feed it corn and grain, just like the cows, we get too much omega-6s. That thing that you wanted is no longer there. Now it's inflammatory. So you really want to make sure that when you're getting salmon, it's wild caught. Now, if you go to a restaurant, you're trying to do a good thing, and you're going to order the salad, and you're like, okay, I want to get the salmon. Are you asking the waiter or waitress, is this wild caught? Because I can guarantee you, if it doesn't say wild caught, it's probably not. You need to be bold and know, what am I putting in my body? Just ask, is this wild caught or farm raised? Sometimes it says farm raised on the menu. You know how else you can tell it's farm raised? It will say Atlantic salmon. There's no such thing as Atlantic salmon. So if it says Atlantic salmon, that's farm raised. But sometimes I'm surprised. We go to places and they're like, no, it's wild caught. Oh, sure. That's great. My wife asks every single time. Because you need to know, what are you putting in your body? They're making genetically modified salmon now. What's happening to our food is getting scary. I had a whole other big portion I had to take out because it was too much. We would have been here till 1. I don't want to do that to you guys. So how do we get more good protein in our body? How do we guarantee we're getting good protein every single day? Well, during this 30-day challenge, we're going to make sure that we're getting Pure Path protein. Pure Path protein is actually our new brand that is from regenerative organic farms in Missouri. Everything that we have from here is 100% grass-fed, grass-finished, no vaccinations, no chemicals ever used in its production. What's really cool is when you take this, one, it's sweetened only with stevia, so it does not affect your blood sugar level, but it's got all the protein you need, but because it's bone broth, it has collagen in it. Have you guys ever taken collagen before or know anything about it? Yeah, collagen is really good for your hair, skin, nails, joints. But one of the reasons why I really like it for this challenge, the collagen, when you drink it, it actually will help coat and heal any issues that you might have inside of your gut. So if we slow down the amount that we're eating, changing and giving our body more time to heal, this collagen is going to help that. Now, in your folder, we put this in there for you guys. It's a list. You don't have to pull it out now, but the Terrible 20, these are vitality stealers. You can go through those and say, all right, I already know these are bad and I don't have them in my house, or I didn't know that was bad. Let's start making some of those changes. I like to just go ahead and what we call cut the low-hanging fruit. What are the easiest changes to make? Make those now. So instead of drinking soda, we can drink water. When we go to break it a little bit, Kroger donated Spindrifts to us for you guys to enjoy. Have you guys ever had a Spindrift before? Spindrift's great. So if you're like a soda person and you want something bubbly but doesn't have natural flavors and all this other junk in it, it's just soda water and juice. And I'm talking like a little bit of juice, not enough to have sugar issues. All right, so we have those here for you guys to try. Now, what we're going to talk about now is the Max Living nutrition plans, because we know that diets don't work. Why? Because diets focus on an endpoint. Do you ever do a diet for the rest of your life? No. You would never do that for the rest of your life. You would do it just temporarily until you achieved your weight goal, and then what? And then you stop, right? So we talk about nutrition plans because we want to focus on health and healing. And how long do you want to be healthy? Forever. So when do we stop eating healthy? Never. So that's why these are things, this is a lifelong journey, stuff that we're going to do for the rest of our life. Now, with Max Living, we have what are called the core and the advanced plan. There are two different ways of eating, very, very similar. Now, if you guys have never learned any of this before, we do have workshops that are already online. It's our Nutrition 101 workshop. So I think we're going to send it to you guys if you want it. But you can just go to YouTube, look up Moss Family Chiropractic, and it's a Nutrition 101. But it goes through this a little bit more in-depth, core versus advanced. Basically, the core is great for health maintenance. It's great for families. Basically, it means making those changes we just talked about. So for carbohydrates, we're still going to be able to eat grains, but we're going to change our grains to whole grain. So instead of white bread, whole grain bread. Instead of white rice, brown rice. Instead of a white potato, a sweet potato. We're going to eat more good, healthy fats, get rid of the damaged fats, and we're going to make sure our proteins are still healthy. 100% grass-fed, organic chicken, wild-caught fish. Now, the advanced plan is something you don't have to do always, but it's good to do for 30 days at a time. The purpose of the advanced plan is to change you from a carbohydrate burner to a fat burner. Carbs are very easy to digest. They're very quick. You get that quick burst of energy, and then you crash. It wreaks havoc on your pancreas. It really leads to burnout, leads to type 2 diabetes. So your body loves to burn fat better. You get more energy out of burning fat. Your brain functions better when you burn fat. The way we do that is we do all the things we just talked about with the core plan, but we remove our carbohydrates from our diet. So no grains, no rice, no breads. We can still have some fruit, but there's sugar in fruit, which are carbohydrates, so we want to minimize our fruit intake. So we're going to get rid of all the high sugary good fruits, right, like pineapples and mangoes, and we're going to look at organic berries, grapefruit, Granny Smith apples, lemons, and limes. That's really the big difference here. And then we are going to eat less because we've learned that if you reduce your calories by 30%, you actually live longer and avoid chronic diseases. In fact, after age 45, you actually don't need to eat as much. Up to age 45, your body's building muscle. It's still building. It's in growth phase. From 45 on, it's more in a preservation phase. So you don't actually need to eat as much as you used to. Sometimes it's up here that I need to eat all the food on my plate, right? Because mommy said, you're not allowed up from the table into clean plate club, right? But you don't have to do that. Start splitting meals. Split an appetizer, split a meal, done. And when you are doing that, eating less, you are actually stimulating your body to clean itself and restore itself. I'm going to teach you guys a new word here today. Everybody say autophagy. Autophagy. That is a self-cleaning mechanism where enzymes in your cells actually clean it out, get rid of waste, and the better your body is at that self-cleaning mode, the healthier you're going to be, the younger you're going to feel, the younger you're going to look, and the more energy you're going to have. So autophagy sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, so how do we maximize autophagy? Stop eating so much and fast more often. Because you have to understand, when we are eating, every time we eat, we turn our digestion on. And it goes from a detoxification mode and cleaning out mode to now I'm digesting. It can't do both at the same time. It wants to do one or the other. So if you're constantly eating, you have dinner, you have a dessert, you have a midnight snack, you get breakfast, you're constantly eating, when is it cleaning itself? It's not giving the chance to. It takes about 14 hours for autophagy to actually set in. So intermittent fasting is actually going to turn that self-cleaning mechanism on. And the way we do that is we don't eat for 16 hours. Let me rephrase that. That sounds hard. We eat for 8 hours. That sounds better, doesn't it, Mike? Yeah. If we eat for 8 hours and then we shut it all down, we don't put any more food that turns on our digestion, you're going to stimulate autophagy and actually be able to get younger, feel better. Remember that whole thing that Whitney was talking about? Oh, I feel old, I'm achy. Yeah, it's probably because you're eating too often. Your autophagy is not functioning properly. So we're going to clean this up. So the 30-day challenge, this is the bulk of it, is how and when we eat. Week 1 and week 2, you're going to have 2 advanced plan meals, which means, like we said before, no carbohydrates, healthy proteins, lots of fat, lots of vegetables. And the book has all your recipes in there, okay? You need more recipes, you need more help, ask us. We've done this many, many times. Oh, yeah, there's a QR code in the book for what recipes? Yeah, okay. So you can scan the QR code in the book for more of those recipes. And then you're going to break your fast with a smoothie. So if we go 16 hours without eating, let's say we have dinner at 6 p.m., that means we don't eat anything. We don't put anything in our body that's going to turn our digestion on until 10 a.m. Doesn't sound too bad, right? Now, some people are like, well, what about my coffee? Right? I know somebody's out there saying that. Coffee is okay as long as you don't put anything in your coffee, like creamer or sugar, because those are sugars. Lactose is in the cream. But what if you still want a creamy version of this? How can I do that and not break my fast? What's that? I'm going to keep teasing you. MCT oil. You can use MCT oil, which is medium chain triglyceride oil. You can get that lots of different places. That is a healthy fat that you put in there. It's not a carbohydrate, so it's not going to cause any issues with breaking your fast, but it's also really good for your brain. Your brain loves MCT oil. So that's how we're going to do the first 2 weeks. And then week 3 and 4, we're going to drop a meal. We're going to have 1 meal a day, and we're going to have 2 smoothies. And these shakes and smoothies, they're easy to digest. It's almost like they're pre-digested, so it's not going to turn your digestion on. It's not going to be hard for your body to digest, which means the autophagy is going to keep on going. You're going to be able to detox. You're going to keep getting healthier and healthier. So no food until you have breakfast in the morning. How does that sound? Can we handle that? I see kind of like yes, maybes. Let me think about it. I'll tell you on Monday. Yeah, okay. But on the week 3 and 4, in a perfect world, if you were having 1 meal, the bulk of your calories, just in general, should be eaten midday. So if you can get home and have a lunch, or you can pack a lunch, do that. In a perfect world, that's how you should do it. The way I do it, sometimes I get my lunch in and I have a smoothie for dinner. Sometimes it's just not the way it goes, so I'll have it at dinner. I'll have the dinner as the meal, and I'll have a breakfast smoothie, and I'll have a dinner smoothie or a lunch smoothie. Some people are like, I've done this before, and I'm going to be able to get into that fat burning mode a lot faster. Can I just start here and do that for 4 weeks? The answer is sure. Sometimes I'll just go even further and have 1 meal and 1 smoothie, and that's it. You can do it those different ways. But some of you are like, I've never done this before. I want you to start here and ease yourself into it. And if you've never done this before, you are going to be, when you starve your body of carbohydrates, you can feel a little irritable, a little tired. Those first 7 to 14 days, that can happen. But the day that you start cleaning your house at 10 p.m. is the day that you turn to a fat burner. Because you're going to have all this energy, and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm going to wash my car. Like, what's going on? That's because you've turned into a fat burner. And when you're a fat burner, your energy levels stay high. You sleep better. You think clear. Everything, your skin's going to look different. Everything is better when you are burning fat. So the 30-day challenge, which is in your book, looks like this. We're going to talk about we talked about the advanced plan. We're going to do the intermittent fasting. There's some supplements I'm going to talk to you here in a second about that are going to help support you and get you the best results. We're going to start exercising, and we're going to talk about that. Dr. Sidney's going to be talking about that after break, about how you can exercise and what we want you to do. Making sure you're not missing your visits at the office. Nourish your mind, meaning cut out social media, stop watching the news. We'll talk about that too. And then stay hydrated. How much water should you drink a day? Half your body weight in ounces. That would be your minimum. Take your body weight, divide it by 2. That's how many ounces of water. If you drink 8 ounces of coffee in the morning, you now need to drink 8 ounces of water to get back to 0, because caffeine will dehydrate you. Okay? All right. So when you are doing this program and you're feeling like I'm craving the stuff that I shouldn't be eating, this product right here is going to help you a ton. This is called Max Fit. Max Fit has glutamine in there, which is going to help your body feel satiated. It has also 2 different, we call it the dynamic duo, 2 different things in there that are just awesome. One is called ashwagandha. Everybody say ashwagandha. That's a fun word to say, ashwagandha. Yes. So ashwagandha is really good for a couple different things. It's pretty interesting. It can give you energy. At the same time, it can help you sleep better at night. But it can also help reduce stress and anxiety. So anybody that's been stressed, has anxiety, this is actually going to help. A study in 2005 showed that just by taking ashwagandha, the people that they studied, the participants, their cortisol levels dropped 26%. So if you reduce cortisol, what does cortisol do when it's always high? It actually makes you hold on to weight, stay bloated, stay inflamed. Just by taking this, we can start to shed some of that layer. It also has decaffeinated green coffee bean extract in that. And that helps to stabilize your glucose levels. And there was a study I found at University of Scranton that these people took just green coffee bean extract, did not change their diet. The average participant lost 17 pounds in 22 weeks. This is not a weight loss supplement. It just happens to be really good for your body to shed and be able to get healthy. All right, let's switch gears here. We talked about food as a chemical interference. What about toxins? They're a little bit more obvious, right? I found this on my phone. I thought this was funny. Yeah, because I bet all of you have wasp killer under your sink at home. And you guys all probably know what it smells like. Those are toxins. And when you have toxins in your household and you're using them and you're breathing them, these are called endocrine disruptors. What that means is it disrupts your chemistry. It disrupts your hormones and can lead to all kinds of different problems. There's also obesogens. Obesogens are going to keep you heavy because you're full of toxins. Where do we find these in our house? Propylene glycol, also called antifreeze, but that's also in your toothpaste. It's in your shampoos. It's in your conditioners. It's in tons of things that are like gooey, like gel. Like if you do a hand sanitizer, number one ingredient in that is propylene glycol. So you want to avoid that. Diethanolamine, that's DEA. Sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium laureth sulfate. SLS, those are degreasers. So anything that scrubs and cleans. Again, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, stuff you wash your clothes with, wash your dishes with, that you're going to eat off of, have these chemicals in them. So what do you do instead? You buy things that don't have those in them. They do exist. In fact, we put a list in the book of what and where to buy. So instead of buying Tide, you buy this instead. Okay, so we're giving you as much information as we can without overloading you. Phthalates. Everybody say phthalates. That's a fun word, right? Is it phthalates? Phthalates? I don't know. It's a silent PH, I guess. It's a potent thyroid disruptor. Too many people out there have thyroid issues and don't know why. A lot of time it's phthalates. And anything that smells fragrant is typically made with phthalates. And one of the biggest ones is perfume and cologne, which is why I do not wear those anymore. I loved wearing them in high school and college and even chiropractic school, but when I learned this, I said no more. My wife doesn't wear any because we know how dangerous it is. It's also Glade plugins, air fresheners. Guys, all this stuff is awful for you. What do you do instead? How about essential oils? You can do that. You can diffuse the essential oils. Not that hard to do, but you really want to look at fragrance-free when you can. And then you need to really look hard at your personal care products. What are you putting on your skin, on your body, under your arms, in your mouth? Are you reading those labels? Because those things are toxic. If you're putting them on your skin is your largest organ, it absorbs into your bloodstream. What you put on your skin is almost as important as what you put into your mouth. Have you guys heard of the EWG before? In the Environmental Working Group. If you haven't, get your phone out, take a picture of this. It is a free, nonprofit database that has gone through all these different products and basically tested them for chemicals. And they give them a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. How dangerous are they? You want them to be 3, 2, or 1. Anything that's 4, 5, or 6 is a moderate risk to your health. 7, 8, 9, or 10 is very, very dangerous. So we have this for you. Now, I've had for years people ask me, what do I do? What kind of shampoo do I use? What kind of conditioner? What about makeup? I'm like, oh, I barely wash my hair, right? I don't know. Does it work? I don't know. Yeah, makeup, yeah, eyeliner, you got it. What's that? Oh, the QR code, yes, thank you. The QR code is also in the book, so you have that resource. So a few years ago, my wife was introduced to a company called Beauty Counter. And Beauty Counter is a company that actually voluntarily sent all of their products to the EWG to have it tested to prove that everything that they make is passing the test. And a lot of times, and I've heard this from my patients and my wife, this stuff is really healthy, but it doesn't work very well. The good news is with Beauty Counter, not only is it healthy for you, it's good for you, but it actually performs really well. And Beauty Counter, so the thing is, only 30 ingredients have been banned from your personal care products in the United States. 30. In the EU, is it 1,400? 1,400 have been banned in the EU. Beauty Counter has banned 2,800 they've banned because they know that they are bad for you. And I have to brag on my wife for a second because she's been working really hard getting this information to as many people as possible because too many people out there, they're putting this stuff on their body and don't realize how toxic it really is for them. Like, I'm fine with my makeup, I'm fine with this, but they don't realize what it's actually doing. Again, a little bit every day is going to cause a bigger problem down the road. Beauty Counter is one of the only companies out there that is actually trying to inspire change by going and lobbying on Capitol Hill. My wife has worked extremely hard to earn a trip that we just found out yesterday that she has earned. She is going to Washington, D.C. in May with 100 other consultants from Beauty Counter to lobby on your behalf to make law changes to protect all of us. How awesome is that? Yeah, very proud. So what are some signs that you might need to detox? Tired a lot, stubborn weight loss, bad breath, constipation, muscle aches and pains, skin issues, eczema. If you have skin issues, that tells me there's something wrong with your digestive tract. You need to detox. And when it comes to weight loss, stalled weight loss could be because of a toxic overload. So what happens here? If you have to understand how your body works. It's meant to detoxify. And if you're taking in a certain amount of toxins and it can handle it, your body, liver detoxifies it, no problem. But we are bombarded with the amount of toxins. So we typically will overload our liver. And if you overload the liver, it says, well, I don't want to just let these toxins float around to our vital organs and kill us. So what does it do? The liver will actually take these toxins, wrap them in fat, and then store them in your body so that when it has more time, it will burn that fat and get those toxins out. Problem is, if we never change our lifestyle, we keep just adding fat-wrapped toxins to our gut and our belly and our behinds. It gets us bigger and bigger. So a lot of times when people are overweight, it's not that, and they're like, I've tried everything, I've eaten this, I've changed my diet, and they're not changing. Toxins. Or they've hit a plateau, I'm doing everything, nothing's changing. Toxins. Or I've lost so much weight, I just got this last little bit of whatever. Toxins. So whenever we start to burn fat, because that's our whole goal with this 30-day challenge, burn fat, we are going to release toxins that have been in our body for years. What happens if we burn that fat, we release toxins, we overwhelm our liver, they wrap it right back in the fat and put it right back on our body. This is why when we burn fat, we need to make sure that we are supporting our liver. This is why anytime I do this 30-day challenge with the advanced plan, I know we're going to burn fat, I know we're going to release toxins, I want to protect my body. So we do what's called the detox system. It's a cellular detox. So in the morning, you would take the 2 cellular detoxes, which is supportive. It's got glutathione, superoxide dismutase, glycine, probiotics, spirulina, chlorella. These are all things that are supportive of your cell health, your liver, and they actually go in and clean out your cells and pull toxins out. At night, you'll take the body detox. The body detox is there to bind to those toxins with sulfur, activated charcoal, and magnesium so that you can actually eliminate the toxins out of your body so they don't go back to fat cells. This is one of the most important things you could do when you start to burn fat. So make sure you are doing that when you are doing the 30-day challenge. Now, what we've done today, so for those of you who have been here before, you know that we offer a discount for our supplements. Everything here is 10% off, but I put together a couple bundles that I think that would be very good if you decide to do this challenge with us, that will give you the best results. This one right here, this is called the Vitality Bundle. The Vitality Bundle starts with a good foundation. We watched that video. They were talking about how our food doesn't have the same amount of nutrients as it used to in there. That's where the daily essentials come in. We're going to fill up that gap. So there's a men's and women's version. The men's and women's version, the only difference is we have a men's multivitamin that's designed for men with prostate health, and women's has a women one that has a hair, skin, and nail blend, antioxidant blend, and a breast health blend. After that, you're going to get 2 of the optimal omegas in there, 2 magnesium glycinates, a B complex, and you're going to get a vitamin D with probiotics because most of us are deficient in vitamin D. How often are we going outside with our clothes off? At noon. Okay, nobody answered that. I once had a person answer. I was like, oh, okay. Sorry, too much information there. So that is a very good foundation. This is why we call it the essentials. A lot of my patients take this every month because they know it's good for them. So the other thing we have is the Max Fit. That's going to help you curb some of your cravings and help reduce your cortisol levels. The detox system we just talked about, and then you have your protein to make your smoothies. The next bundle we have is called the Longevity Bundle. The only difference is we took out the essentials, and I took the 2 most important things out of that essential pack, which was, I think, the vitamin D3 with the probiotics and the optimal omega. And then we have your Kickstart Bundle, which is your grass-fed whey protein, the optimal omega. Oh, I said optimal omega up there. Is there optimal omega in it or no? Pictures are correct. Okay, forget that. So it's a detox, the Max Fit, and the bone broth protein. Now, we are going to be going on a break here in just a minute. Now, if you would like to get any of the supplements, the easiest way to do that is you have an order form in your folder there. You can just check off what you need, how much of it you need, and then you just fill out the bottom and you hand it to the store. They'll go ahead and get that for you. If you want any of the bundles, let us know as well. We'll have those prepackaged for you. I don't think we have enough for everybody right now, but if you do order today, you will have it within the week. So make sure you get back there as soon as possible. We have some vendors here. My wife is here with Beauty Counter. So if you have any questions about your makeup, your personal skincare regimen, she's here to answer any of your questions. Norwex is here. So Celeste is here. She represents Norwex, and Norwex is a non-toxic cleaning company. We use it in our office. We use it at our house, and it's really awesome to clean without any chemicals. You really just need water. And we'll be back here in about 20 minutes.
Awesome. So our next speaker is my other personal chiropractor. She is absolutely wonderful. She's newer to our practice. As of last year, she actually closed her practice to join our team because she wanted to be around more people and just have the support of a team. And we could not be luckier. She actually graduated in 2020, and she's certified in pediatrics and prenatal care and family wellness, just like Dr. Moss. And she has an additional specialty, and that's in soft tissue. And I can honestly tell you that's a great service that we offer, and I'm grateful she does it because Lord knows time and time again, as we're getting older and sore, we need some additional love to our body. So let's give it up to Dr. Sydney so she can teach us more about that.
Hello, everybody. I'm gonna get situated here. I have to get my clicker. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about sedentary lifestyles, physical traumas that can create physical interferences. Now, I want to start by painting a picture for you all. I want you to envision that you have had a great night's sleep. You've been sleeping for 8 hours. You are going to work, and now you're sitting at your computer all day long. And as the day is progressing, you notice you're getting a little bit tired, so you're going towards the screen and squinting at the screen. Your shoulders are getting a little bit rounded. Now, all of a sudden, your neck hurts. You're getting a headache. Your low back hurts. You might be getting some sciatic pain. You might be experiencing some tingling sensations in your fingers. Those are all symptoms of physical interference because as you are sitting all day long, you are going into a poor posture and you're putting pressure on your body. You are decreasing the vitality and life within your body. And over time, that can create postural imbalances. Now, I want to ask you guys, what are you doing when you get home to help with all these postural imbalances and postural interferences? Are you just so tired that you're just sitting home, sitting more, doing nothing? Or what are you doing to help combat all this? Now, postural interferences is not just an adult problem. It's happening in people younger and younger these days. We're seeing postural interferences in kids, like as soon as they can hold an iPad. People are looking at their phones, they're sitting all day at school, they are just constantly in a flex position. Now, if you know someone like that, what are they doing to help combat all these interferences? So, what we like to do in our office is try to teach you all about how to combat all these physical interferences. And one that we really like to harp on is home care. So that's going to be your wobble cushion, your cervical tractions, and your weights, and your head weights. So what are those going to help you with? Those are going to help with increasing hydration in the discs. It's going to help with relaxing tight muscles, but it's also going to help strengthen the posture or strengthen the muscles to help improve overall posture. And over time, that's going to help you be upright. Your head's going to be on top of your shoulders properly. But other ways that you can combat all these sit flexion positions is by doing things opposite of that. One thing is just simply stretching backwards. You can do that with just taking an exercise ball and laying back on it. You can lie on your bed and just hang your head off the bed for a little bit. And all of these are also types of inversions. So inversions is another great way to help change up your body positions, and you do not need fancy equipment for that. A good rule of thumb for inversions is just making sure your head is lower than your heart. So that can also include yoga poses like downward dog. You can simply just touch your toes and hang there for a little bit. Not only is this going to get your muscles moving in different ways, but it's going to help improve circulation, improve lymphatic flow, just get things working a little bit better. Now, another factor with postural imbalances is fascia. Has anyone heard of fascia? Awesome. So fascia is a type of connective tissue that is essentially saran wrap around your muscles. And a good visual that I like to give people is when you are taking skin off of a chicken breast, that like white connective tissue between the skin and the muscle, that is fascia. The job of fascia is to keep all your muscles together. Over time, when you are in bad postures and bad positions, you can get something called fascial adhesions to form. And what are fascial adhesions? That is essentially taking the saran wrap around the fascia and twisting it. So what's that going to do with the muscle? That's going to give the muscle less room to move. You might start noticing decreased range of motion. You might even start noticing tender spots. And those tender spots are commonly known as trigger points. And over time, those can just progress and progress and progress if you don't do anything about it. And one easy way to help combat all these fascial adhesions and tight fascia is through foam rolling. And what is foam rolling? It's just taking a foam roller and just rolling it along your muscles throughout your body. And when you roll, you're going to notice it might not be very comfortable and you might have a lot of uncomfortable spots. Great example is if you do your IT band on the side. That is notoriously tight and it is not very fun. But the goal is to lean into it. When you find a tender spot, you just hold it there and it hurts so good. That's what I like to tell people. So after that, you're going to start noticing that the fascial adhesions are going to start dissipating and the tenderness will go away, but you're also going to start noticing some better range of motion. Now, if you're doing all these things to help combat all these postural interferences, but you're still not really getting what you want out of it and you might need a little bit of help, we do offer soft tissue sessions in our office. And this is where we can really just hone in on your exact problems and really find out what postural imbalances are your ailments, essentially. And we really work on fascia and muscles through scraping and cupping. And what scraping and cupping do, that helps with muscle recovery, it helps with range of motion, but it also helps with improving blood flow and improving lymphatic drainage. And it feels great. Like people fall asleep all the time with cupping. It's really funny. I've had people snore and wake themselves up. So let's see here. So I want to teach everyone a fun new word, and it is hormesis. Can you all say hormesis? Perfect. So that is another fancy word for microstressors. And what are microstressors? Simply just that, little itty bitty stressors that add up throughout the day, and those have a lot of benefits. So what microstressors are going to do is increase overall adaptation because you are challenging your body. You are stressing it out a little bit so it can get stronger and overall increase vitality. And some common examples of that are on the screen here. So that can just be intermittent fasting that we've talked about earlier today. That can be after a nice warm shower, you turn on the cold water and you just enjoy that for 30 to 60 seconds. And if it is winter outside, if you're getting your mail, you don't put the coat on to be nice and cozy. You just go out and get the mail and you're just cold a little bit. And that can also be, instead of taking the escalator wherever you are, you decide to take the stairs. You park a little bit farther than you normally would at the grocery store. And all of those are going to add up over time and accumulate to really just help your body be better. And also, fascia is also a type of microstressor. Now, the biggest bang for your buck for microstressors is fitness and overall movement. Movement is life. If you do not use it, you lose it. So we like to really focus on metabolic conditioning in our office. That's going to be the best way to get all the health benefits and really help with fat burning. And other helpful benefits is increasing stress and anxiety and depression, improving circulation, improving sleep, improving immune function, and decreasing the risk of chronic health conditions. Now, how do we work on this? So microconditioning is also considered a high-intensity exercise. And as you can see, there's a ton of additional health benefits. So how do you do this? So high-intensity exercise is you work really hard and you want to be out of breath. That is like the simple way to say it. But if you're someone who already has a workout routine that you really like and you want to help add a little things, you can simply go on a jog. And then you have a 20-second interval of just sprinting to the best that you can until you're out of breath. And then you go back to the jog. So you're going from like 100% effort to 60% effort in those intervals. But if you are someone who likes to pick various amount of exercises for your workout routine, for the high intensity exercises, you do 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off intervals. And that is the key. So when you are 20 minutes on, whatever exercise you are doing that as hard as you can, as fast as you can. And again, you want to be out of breath. In your folders, you have Max T3 modules, and there are workout routines and examples there for you, and a little bit more about Max T3 as well. Now, so with those in the 30-day challenge, we really want to encourage you to incorporate more of these high-intensity exercises to really maximize your benefits of overall health, decreasing weight loss, and just adding vitality to your life. Now, I've given you a lot of information about exercise, and you might be a little bit overwhelmed. You don't know where to start. That is where we like to offer Exercise 101 workshops. Exercise 101 workshops is where we can really go in depth with you to answer any questions you have. We'll help you with the workout routines, and we will actually do one with you. And the benefit of doing a workout routine as a group is that we can really help you with the proper amount of modifications that you need, but we can also make sure that you have proper form so you can decrease any unnecessary injuries that may happen. And our next one is going to be on March 21st, and also in your folders, you can check off and sign up if that is something that you are interested in. Okay.
Very much, Dr. Sidney. Good job. I'm not going to need that. Okay, thank you. Very good. I can tell you those soft tissue sessions do make a big difference. I probably have little suction cups marks all over my back right now because I had a little issue yesterday she helped me take care of, which is make me feel a lot better. Okay, so Dr. Sidney was really introducing physical stress, physical traumas. What does that do? How does that take away from our health? The big thing we need to focus on is the spine. If we're sitting there on our phones like this, if we're sitting all day like this, we're sleeping like this, what's that doing to our spine? It's putting pressure on the nerves. Because the spine needs to be in the right position, not to cause issues, but when we have bad posture, it does put pressure on the nerves. This is a physical interference. I feel like that's the worst thing that could ever happen to you because it's like stepping on a hose carrying water to your garden. If you step on the hose carrying water to your garden, what happens to the water? It stops. Eventually, what's going to happen to your garden? It's going to wilt. It's going to die. The best thing you could do for that is throw medications all over it. Maybe. If it's turning brown, make it green. No, we need to find out what is causing it to turn brown. Why is it losing its health and vitality? It was pressure on that hose. Remove the pressure, the water flows, giving that garden what it needs, and what eventually will happen is it will come back to life. Same thing happens here in our body. This is called a subluxation. Everybody say subluxation. Very good. Subluxation means a state of less light because it's like stepping on that hose, carrying life and light to your body. Every subluxation, every nerve controls different areas of your body. So this chart, you guys should have this in your packet. This is something that you guys need to study and memorize. Just kidding. That was my job. I needed to study and memorize this in chiropractic school. That's why if I said, if you have a subluxation at C2 right here, that controls your sinuses, that can cause headaches if there's a subluxation there. It can cause sinus pressure. It can cause ear infections. If you have a subluxation at C5, well, that controls the nerves that go to your thyroid. So that can cause neck pain, but it can also cause issues with your thyroid, hypo or hyperthyroidism. If you have a subluxation at T2, those nerves control your heart and lungs. They also can cause numbing and tingling in your hands and upper back pain. So yes, it can cause pain, but what's the bigger issue? What's the bigger picture? Well, asthma, heart issues. If you have a subluxation at T6, that can cause middle back pain. But those nerves also go to your stomach, and you can get reflux and indigestion. If you have a subluxation at T12 right here, you're going to be sore all the time, right? Middle back, lower back pain. Those nerves also go to your adrenal glands. You're going to be tired all the time. You're going to be irritable. You're going to be gaining weight. You're going to have skin issues. You have a subluxation at L4. That can cause low back pain, pain down the leg. Those nerves also go to your digestive system and reproductive organs. So females, if you're having irregular cycles or infertility, that could be why. You have IBS, you have issues with your digestion, that could be why. Isn't it pretty interesting how we could figure out what might be going on with you just by feeling your spine? What kind of tests did I have to do? What kind of MRIs did I have to do? None of that. I can feel your spine and tell you where you have subluxations, and we can fix those subluxations. Your body's power will be turned back on. Now, how do you know if you might have these problems? Well, there are warning signs. Pain is typical. That's what people typically go to the chiropractor for. Back pain, neck pain, headaches, right? Can we help with those? Sure. Is that really why I adjust you? No. My job is to find out what caused the pain. The pain is usually a warning sign that your body is not healing and it's not functioning. If we want to be healthy, remember the definition of health has to do with 100% function. If your body's not functioning, then you start to lose your health, then you start to get symptoms, then we go to a doctor to take pills to get rid of the symptoms, but you never actually get healthy. My job is to find out what's causing these warning signs, and if it is a subluxation, if it's pressure on the nerve, we remove those so that we can get you healthy again. Sounds easy. Sounds logical. Oh my goodness. Health is supposed to be logical and make sense? Nah. Of course it is. So if you have any of these warning signs, so for you that are guests, you have that sheet. At the top of that sheet, there's a bunch of what look like symptoms: back pain, neck pain, headaches. I'm tired all the time. I'm exhausted all the time. I'm stressed all the time. I don't sleep well. I get ear infections. Any of these problems are warning signs that your body might not be healing very well. What do you want to do about that? I think the best idea would be to find out why. Why am I having these problems? So the best thing you could do is go get an examination at a chiropractor. In my office, we do very thorough exams. First of all, when you start care in my office, we want to know everything about you. I want to know what medications you're on, what supplements you're taking, how many accidents you've been in, what sports you played, because that all tells me, paints a picture of what kind of damage has already been done and where are we and what can we do with you. Then what we do is we do the exam. We check your posture. Because if you walk in like this, do you think you might have an issue in your neck? Yeah. In chiropractic school, we used to play a game of try to figure out what this guy's problem is just by looking at him. And we'd go to the airport and we made some weird friends, how long you had that low back problem? How'd you know? I'm like, I'm a chiropractor. And they're like, you're weird. And I'm like, maybe that did seem kind of weird. So we don't do that anymore, but I can look and I'm like, I bet that guy's got that problem. Yeah. So we look at your posture, then we look at your range of motion. If I say, turn your head to the left and you do this, do you think that might be a misalignment in your spine keeping you from moving properly? The answer is yes. That's a sign of a subluxation. We do orthopedic testing to see what's causing the pain. Then we do nerve tests. We do a thermographic nerve test in our office to find out where is there pressure on the nerves. And during that exam, if any of those things raise a red flag that you might have a subluxation, then we take x-rays. Once we get those x-rays, we sit down in the evening and we analyze these x-rays down to the millimeter and the degree to find out exactly where is the pressure, what nerve is that going to, what organs are those nerves going to. Maybe that's what's been causing your problem the whole time. And then what we do is we create care plans to figure out how we're going to help you. So if you were to go to a medical doctor, a medical office, or a hospital and have all those tests done, what do you think your bill would look like? Too much? Sure. Give me some numbers. What's that? 20 bucks? Oh, 20 grand. Yeah, that sounds more like it. I was like, 20 bucks, where are you going? 20,000? I'd say at least $1,000, right? Depends on your insurance, right? Well, here's the thing. I should charge that because it's absolutely worth it, but that is not what we do. I never want anybody not to be able to get the care they need because of money. I don't want anybody ever not be able to figure out how is their body healing because they don't have thousands of dollars or great insurance, which is why I don't charge that. We charge $150 in my office for everything I just told you about because I feel like everybody needs access to this type of care. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, for those of you that are guests and you think this is a great idea, you know what? I would like to go to the office and find out how my body's healing. Today, if you make that appointment, it's only going to be $60. So this is what it looks like. The first visit you come in, we do the consultation, we do all the exams. If we need to take x-rays, we take the x-rays. You pay the $60 today, taken care of. The next visit, we'll have you come back in as soon as possible so we can let you know if we can even help you. We'll let you know what we found on your x-rays, what we found during the exam, and if it's something that we can help you, we'll give you an adjustment. And I want to see how you respond to that adjustment. That adjustment is only $60. And then once I see how you respond, then what we do is we put together a care plan for you so you know exactly how many visits you need, how often do you need to be there, what kind of things you can be doing at home, and we show you how we make it affordable for every single person that comes to us, whether they have great insurance or no insurance at all. And then at that point, you'll see your x-rays, you'll see everything, and you'll decide what do you want to do? How do you want to proceed? So if you would like to make that appointment, what you're going to do is on the bottom of that sheet, well, first of all, make sure you put your name right here and your cell phone number. And then what you do is what we've done is we've put a couple appointments available next week for those of you that are here today. You would just circle which day works best for you and what time. I'd suggest picking maybe 2 options. And then when you're done, just put your arm in the air and Whitney is going to come around and she was going to take payment for that. And the reason why we do that is because in the past we've had people make appointments and not show up. And what happens then is that person took an appointment away from somebody who really wanted to be there. And I would never like that to happen. So that's the only reason why we ask you to pay today. It's only $60 if you do it today, and then that includes your exam and any necessary x-rays. Now, while you're filling that out, when you're done, I said you can just raise your hand so Whitney knows. I want to show you some x-rays. These are 2 very important x-rays. These x-rays are taken from the side. This person here, this is his low back. He's taken from the side like this. And this one over here is a side view of the neck. This person is standing like this. Both have 40 to 45 degree curves. This looks fantastic. Very important line is this one right here. This is called your forward head posture line. It tells me how far is your head going forward. It's not supposed to be out here, but guess what happens? Texting, all the things that look down create what we call forward head posture. And that forward head posture is stealing your vitality, and you might not even know it. So these are normal x-rays. This is an abnormal x-ray. Does that look anything like that x-ray? No. It's going not the right direction anymore. It's actually going the wrong direction. I could look at that x-ray and tell you all the problems this guy's going to have, but he already told me. He has pain going down the leg. He couldn't even sit for 10 minutes without the pain being so excruciating. He'd have to pull over, stand up, walk around the car, and get back in the car. That makes for a very difficult commute. Difficulty walking, swollen prostate. He's already been to the doctors. They give him all these medications. Nothing is helping. Chronic constipation, he could barely move his bowels, miserable. His wife just so happened to be a patient. She was seeing amazing results, and you know what he said? I hate doctors. I'm not going. I've heard this before, and I said, you know what? I hate doctors too. But I'm different because we're not going to just give you medication. We're actually going to sit down, we're going to listen to you, and we're going to try to figure out what's causing these problems. So his wife said, can you help him? I said, you know what? I don't know. Because she said, he's got a prostate problem, he's not walking, he's constipated. Can you help him? I said, the answer is always going to be the same. I don't know. What I do know is if he has a subluxation, his body will always function better without that subluxation. I said, let's do the exam, at least see what's going on. So we do the exam. This is his x-ray. Obviously, this is his problem. After 24 visits, this is what his x-ray looked like. We went from a reverse curve to a forward curve. Is it perfect? No. Is it so much better? Yes. He no longer had to pull over to walk around the car. He was moving his bowels. And his favorite thing was his prostate was no longer in pain. He was able to urinate properly, and he was able to go back to work. 24 visits, 2 months of care. Huge change. This right here is Robin. She's actually a friend of ours, and she had been gaining weight over time, over a couple years, gained 30 pounds. This doesn't even look like the Robin that we know. She was tired all the time, never felt like playing her son. She was depressed because of that. She had neck pain, headaches, her arms were tingling. Thyroid was not working to the point where she's on medication, kept going up and up and up. And the doctor said, we just have to just keep increasing it because that's what your body's asking for. What? That makes no sense. Well, she didn't like the whole idea of getting her neck cracked. So she said, I don't know, chiropractic's not for me. I don't want to do that. But she kept texting us and asking us, do you think this could help though? I said, same thing I always say. If there's pressure on the nerve, it's choking off the body. The body can't heal. That could be the cause. Let's take pressure off. Let's at least do the exam and see what's going on. This is what her x-ray looked like. Does that curve look normal? No, that is a straight neck. It's got a 1-degree curve, but look at her forward head posture. Huge. It was after 3 months of care, her x-ray looked like that. Huge, huge change. And Robin sent us this picture. She had already lost 12 pounds. She was off all of her antidepressants, cut her thyroid medication in half, easier to concentrate, more energy. I could go on and on because her life was forever changed. And the best part was her son got her mommy back because she was no longer tired all the time. Now, this last part, we've talked about toxins. We've talked about physical traumas and physical interference. Now we need to talk about emotional interference. And I have a video that's going to give you a lot of information and probably stress you out.
Have you run away from a saber-toothed tiger recently? Maybe you haven't, but the stress response you feel when you are late to work or the growl your stomach makes when you haven't had anything but an energy bar and coffee in the morning is the same stress response we had when we were cavemen. That stress response is called fight or flight. Grunk is a real-life caveman. He goes to work hunting saber-tooths and rabbits for his family. Unfortunately, the saber-tooth chases Grunk on occasion, and his physical and emotional stress levels go way up. When this happens, Grunk's body's intelligence kicks in to help him escape. His heart rate goes way up, his blood pressure spikes, more adrenaline is produced, and the body moves the blood away from the digestive tract and into the muscles, as digesting food isn't a priority at that moment. Grunk eventually does escape and rests at home, and after 15 to 20 minutes, his body resets and begins to operate normally again. Now, your body doesn't know the difference between running from a saber-toothed tiger or rushing your kids to school. Your body's stress response is triggered in both situations, so your blood pressure, heart rate, and food digestion is the same as Grunk's when he's running away from a tiger. These types of situations could happen every day in our culture. The difference between you and the caveman is the caveman was able to relax in his cave soon after he finished stressing out. So for the whole day, the caveman would stress the duration of a hunt, which would last maybe an hour. You, on the other hand, have to deal with the stress of racing your kids to school, traffic, work, relationships, and everything else that life constantly throws at you. Plus, add in the constant chemical stress that comes from the unhealthy foods we eat, and it's like you are running from the saber-tooth all day long. The solution is to build your own cave. You have to build your own cave every day, and it means finding some peace in the pileup of traffic while driving to work. It means going to bed on time instead of staying up late binging on your favorite TV shows. It means taking some time to go outside and do some relaxing work instead of locking yourself up in your office. Otherwise, this chronic stress will open you up to most diseases because your immune system will tank and a lack of nutrients that your body needs due to not being able to digest your food properly. Add to that the fact that your adrenals, which are the glands that sit atop your kidney and decide where your hormones go, are so active with the abundance of stress you experience and put into your body, you will develop adrenal fatigue. Put all this together, and now you know why stress is the start of all disease processes. How can we make our fight or flight more effective? How can we turn it off when we don't need it and bring it up when it's necessary? Ask yourself what you are putting in your body for energy. Your body is probably asking your brain for those artificial stimulants you gave it, like coffee, processed sugars, or genetically modified foods, because it's confused on why the adrenals aren't filling up like they used to. You have sucked your adrenals dry of hormones that didn't need to be active in the first place. That's huge because we are taking a finite source and sucking it dry. What people may not know is that a lot of things trigger the fight or flight response. Emotional stresses, eating unhealthy foods, overreacting to life's daily challenges, going through tough emotional times, all trigger fight or flight. However, that leaves a lot of areas where we can improve it. So if this video has successfully stressed you out with all the info it's loaded you up with, you should take a minute to relax. At least you don't have a tiger running after you. If you always put limit on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus. And you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. Bruce Lee.
There's a lot of information in there, wasn't it? Yeah. So obviously we'd like to have less stress in our life, but instead of focusing on stress management, I like to focus on peace management. Because whatever you focus on, you bring about. So if we're always focusing on stress, you're going to have more stress in your life. If we can focus on ways to create more peace, that's what we're going to have as a balance. So what I really liked about that video, one of the things that stuck out when we were watching it during our research was you need to create a cave. You need to create a happy place. And the way you do that is through making and prioritizing yourself and the things that make you happy. So here's some thoughts. You need to know what actually makes you happy. When's the last time you laughed? If you love playing a sport and it makes you happy, when's the last time you actually played it? What brings you peace? And I say the number one stressor that I know in my office from when I talk to all my patients is their job. And I can't tell you how many people don't like their job. It's their number one source of stress, but they need to make the money, right? And in the perfect world is find something that you love to do and figure out a way to make money doing it. If anybody's looking for a new career, we can use more chiropractors in this world. I feel like I have one of the best jobs there is. I don't have a desk job. I don't have a desk chair. I get to be healthy, and I have to be healthy so that I can help more people be healthy. So here I'm going to share with you a couple things that we do that are easy to do that I feel like help create more peace. One is stop watching the news. The news is awful for your psyche. All right, you're always constantly stressed and bothered by things that you can't control and do anything about. Stop looking at social media. Social media is one of the worst things ever invented. There's more anxiety, depression, and suicide in the teenagers than ever before, and it has everything to do with social media. Because if you think about it, all we do is, and this is a natural instinct, is to compare ourselves to other people. We all do it. That's just part of how our psyche works. But now you have access to everybody's life, and do you think everybody's telling you how bad their life is, or they're just giving you the good stuff? The good stuff. So you're basically looking at people's highlight reels and wondering why your life is not great too. And that leads to depression, causes anxiety, why am I not where I want to be, and suicide. This is why we just need to get rid of it, to be honest. Go out in nature, reduce screen time, play more sports, meditate, deep breathing, and laugh. And one of my favorite things to do, my wife and I's favorite date night is to laugh. We like to go to comedians. And we saw a really funny comedian last week, 2 weeks, I guess it was 2 weeks ago. Mark Normand, just going to promote him for a second because he's that funny. Netflix, not appropriate whatsoever, okay? If you're okay with swear words and inappropriate things, it's a constant laugh, okay? And you guys want to hear a joke? It's not from him. I have another joke. What do you call a hen looking at lettuce? A chicken Caesar salad. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they're also making a movie about constipation, but it hasn't come out yet. Yeah. I'm only allowed 2 dad jokes a day, and I just used them both up for you guys. Okay. So the distance between your dream and your reality is taking action. We need to take action. What are our action steps? We're going to do the 30-day challenge. I know a lot of you got what you need to do this challenge. Shannon, when are we starting this challenge? Monday. I said, we're starting on Monday. And she goes, well, there's a book called Started on Monday. It sounds like an excuse, doesn't it? I'll start that Monday. I would highly suggest starting it on Monday. I will be starting it on Monday. My staff will be starting on Monday. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot easier to do it when we're all doing it together, because then we can support each other. We can say, hey, did you try that recipe? That was really good. Or, hey, I found a new recipe. Let's share it. All right? Because when you're in my office, we are a community. You're going to see these people again and say, how is it going? How are you doing? You're looking good. All right? So we're going to do the 30-day challenge starting what day? Thank you. Monday. We have a couple of events. And again, if you have your little sign-up sheet, little card here that you've had out, you can sign up right here. One of them is a shop with a doc. I'm taking you guys shopping at Kroger, next door to my office. And it's going to be Saturday, March 23rd at 10 a.m. It typically lasts about 2 hours. It really depends on how many people are there, how many questions you're asked. You can ask me any question you want about shopping. I do all the shopping at my house, so I know where everything is. I know what we need to get organic, what we don't need to get organic. I'm going to teach you how to read labels. I'm going to show you where the grass-fed beef is. I'm going to show you where the healthier, non-fragrance conditioner, or not conditioner, but washing detergent is. I'll answer any question you have about shopping, okay? And I'm going to show you how to save money doing it, because that's also very important. We're also going to do the Exercise 101. That's Thursday, March 25th. That's with Dr. Sydney. She's going to do a small 20-minute presentation, going a little bit more in depth about fitness, how the metabolic conditioning works, how you can burn 36 hours after one 12-minute workout, and we're going to do that workout together. Like she said, to make sure everybody's form is fine and everybody has any modifications they need, we can help them with that. And then we are bringing back our community outreach dinner. We haven't done these dinners in a couple years. I'm very excited to have this back on the calendar. It is April 18th at 6 p.m. That dinner is at Las Palmas, right next to my office. And this is for your friends. This is for your family, the people that you've written down. I want you to think about those people. I want you to think about that person who might have heart disease, somebody who's on 6 medications, somebody whose kids are always getting ear infections. They need our help. These are the people that you are going to bring to this dinner. There is no cost for the dinner. I pay for everything. I talk for about 25 minutes. And then if they would like to get a checkup at the office, they're welcome to do so. Because our healthcare system is like that boat. And we think we have the best healthcare system. We think we have the big, strongest boat, but we do not. We've hit the iceberg years ago, and we've slowly been sinking. I'm on this ship. I'm on this rescue boat. You guys are here today. You guys are on this rescue boat. Who else do you want to be on that rescue boat with you? You want your friends. You want your family. You want your neighbors. And I can tell you right now, you guys know stuff that they do not. Your neighbor might be right next to you, drowning in that ice-cold water, and they might not even be able to see you because they're staring at the boat that's sinking, not realizing that you're right behind them. How are you going to get this information to them? You have to step up. You have to get out there. You have to tell people. We are on a mission to change healthcare, and I can't do this by myself. We need your help. Sometimes it's a little uncomfortable to ask your friends, hey, do you want to come to this dinner? But guess what? How many people were here were referred by somebody else that they think God sent them to us? Because now they're living a healthier life. And I want you guys to understand that health is a choice. And you guys need to choose to live better. I thank you guys for being here with us on a Saturday morning. I love all of you.